Hello, 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 and welcome to Lunchtime today. I am so excited to have you, ladies, and whoever it is joining us. If you're a guy coming here just to be inspired by Kimisha's story, our guest for today, I am really excited. So, as I get ready to introduce our special guest for today, let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. Let us know in the chat. So, let me tell you who's with us today. Today we have Kimisha King joining us all the way from Barbados. And Kimisha holds a degree in labor and employment relations, law and government policy or political studies, actually. She achieved a level 4 Caribbean Vocational Qualification and so on. And she is a certified internal verifier for National and Caribbean Vocational Qualifications. She is also the creator of Reimagining My Reality Framework. And what she does is helps women between the ages of 25 to 55 who have no vision for their lives or feel that the circumstances are determining where they are going to go in life. She wants to train and help them to rethink, reimagine, and become everything that they were intended to be. And so, Kimisha, we're so excited that you're joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here today with you.
Awesome. And so as you're coming in, let us know in the chat where you're joining us from. We just want to know who's having lunch with us today. And so I introduced you, almost bit my tongue there a little bit in that bio. So maybe can you just tell our viewers, those who join us for lunch today, just a little bit about your background?
Sure, most definitely. So, as Dr. Nadine had shared recently, I have a degree in check me, I'm doing the same, right? Labor and employment relations. I also have an associate degree in law and political studies as well. And outside of that, I have currently have my 9 to 5, and I work as a technical officer in the educational industry. And then the part that I love the most is that I'm a visionary strategist and a life purpose coach.
Awesome. So I had the honor of working with you in the speaker mentorship program. So let me just give a shout out to those who joined us here. We have Maren joining us from St. Lucia. We have Camille Paul joining us from St. Lucia. Of course, Natalie is here joining us from Barbados. We have Kara Angel. Let us know where you joined us from for lunch today. So, Kamisha, you came
Yes.
in to the speaker program and I believe you came there by recommendation of a friend.
Yes, I did. I did. My friend Natalie, actually, she had done the course and she was so ecstatic about how great it was, the content, how she was able to apply everything that she learns. And it was highly recommended when it came. And I said, okay, I am going to do this.
Yes. And so I remember we having that discovery call, and you have been doing a lot of things already prior to
Yeah.
coming to the program. So, for somebody who was so busy doing so much, what were you looking for when you came into the speaker mentorship program?
When I came in, I really was looking for structure because, like you said, I was doing so many things that sometimes you can be all over the place. And the question is, do you really need to be everywhere? So I really needed structure, I needed guidance, and I needed that opportunity to really refine my message so that my message was precise and it was depicting exactly what I was offering. And the speaker mentorship program did absolutely just that for me.
Awesome. Yeah, because I remember you were doing so much, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a lot Kimisha is doing here. And
Yeah.
and I think we went through this process of knowing, okay, so you're doing a lot, but we kind of need clarity on that one message, that one sound that you needed to have so that you're not spreading yourself so thin and that
Mhm.
everything that you're doing was in alignment. Everything was just bringing you into that same place, the same direction, so you're not pulling, because that's one of the challenges sometimes when women come into the program. Sometimes they're very busy doing so much, and it's ironic. Just yesterday I had a convo with a lady coming into the new cohort, and I said it's amazing that I'm asking you to do more, which is to get to be committed to this so that you could actually do less, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
has been in the program? We're going to talk more about your journey in, but how has been in the program really realigned you in the work that you're doing now?
So it really has really realigned me in the sense of it helped me to focus on that one thing,
Mhm.
because I like we shared earlier, I was doing so many things and I needed that connection. I needed to have that level of alignment, and focusing and narrowing on that one message that really embodied everything that I did, that I wasn't recognizing that, hey, Kimisha, this is it, because I was giving it all these different types of names. But when we sat down and we trashed it out and we went through, we recognized, okay, it is this one main thing. And the speaker mentorship program really gave me that sound clarity and direction on where I needed to, place my focus so that I can have success in the area that I was pursuing.
Awesome. So talk to us about that journey because you
Yeah.
were in the program and I know, I would be giving feedback to you back and forth, back and forth. What was it like for you going through the program, really trying to just get clarity because we went into your life, your
Yeah.
background, your stories, we went deep. What was it like for you just going through the program, going through the process that we went through to really get that clarity? And then we can talk a little more about your background as well.
Sure. So when we first started, I'm smiling because at first I felt like everything when we were going through, I'm like, okay, I got it together. But then when Dr. Collins said, nope, we need to pull this out, you need to, and I felt like, oh my goodness, like, did I not have it together? So it caused me to start completely fresh, not coming in with what I thought I knew, but just coming in with a clean slate and a clean mind, and then really searching and going deep. And like you said, going deep makes you very uncomfortable because I had to unearth some things that I didn't really talk about in that light. But having that one-on-one session and then even in the group, it was able to pull out, those things that were they're really underneath that I was not really focusing on, and was able to give me the clarity. It was very uncomfortable, because nobody wants to go, to do that. But it was definitely worth it, and it was necessary so that I can able to get the direction that I needed for my message.
Yes, yes. I remember, really giving you feedback as I went
Yeah.
through your document and I'm like, okay, no, this is too much. This is not tailored enough. This is because I wanted us to be able to just have you so clear and focused in that one area of service. And as we went into your story, into your background, we were able to really get it, what
Yeah.
your path to success was. So if you don't mind, and we just lost her there for a second,
Yeah.
second girl, if you don't
Yeah.
mind, what is it you're talking about and how talk to us about your background because we talk about your framework being reimagining stuff. What is
Mhm.
your background? What led you to that place of service? Yes, we did the work, but the
Yeah.
work was not really what led you there. It's your own story that led you there. So what is that story about? Because there's so many women who probably are not sure about how they can realize a particular reality. So, talk to us about your background and what led you to serve in the area that you're serving in now.
You see, I grew up, in a very dysfunctional family, and at the age of 4, I remember just sitting in front of the television and using the television to kind of, to just kind of like fall myself in just disappear in the television, so that I didn't have to face what was actually happening before me. So what was happening was that I was actually dreaming. As a child, you always have a really huge imagination. So as I watched those television shows, I would imagine myself, having the lifestyle that I saw the actors and actresses have. Imagine myself having the home, having the family, doing all of these things together, because what I was seeing was consistent, quarreling. I witnessed my grandmother and mother, having an argument. And in the midst of the argument, my grandmother took the boiling hot water off the stove and tossed it at my mother. And my mother, with her reflexes, she grabbed the food off the stove and tossed it back at her. And then I would see different, things happening between her and her siblings, consistently over and over and over. But when I sat in front of that television and I really started to imagine a better life, and I didn't understand what I was doing because I was so young. I didn't know I was visualizing anything. I didn't know I was putting together any concept. But I started, living out what I was seeing on television. And I believed that if this is possible, because I really believed in the movies. I didn't think they were acting for a second. I thought this was real life. So I was thinking, if these people can have this lifestyle, if they can live like this, if their family can be like this, then I can do it too. And that's what got me started.
Wow. I mean, that is amazing and amazing for a few reasons because, you get a lot of negativity sometimes. People talk so badly about television. And when I was working with you, one of the things I noted was this idea that even though, there's so much negative press around TV, the television was a means for you to escape a reality that you were in, but also dream of, desire, and just imagine a reality that was not your present
Mm-hmm.
circumstances, but something that you thought was achievable because you saw other people living it. And as you were
Yeah.
speaking, I smiled because you said, I didn't think for a moment that, this was acting. I thought it was real. And so
Yeah.
there you are at such a young age doing what people now call visualization, because that's what you were doing. And
Yes.
just so, how has that sort of approach in life, from that young age, just visualizing, a reality that, hey, this could be mine. And we know as believers, we speak a lot about faith and how God says, we think of things that are not as if they are, which is what you were
Mhm.
doing, right?
Yes.
About that type of experience, how did that you just continue to shape who you are even today?
That's just so amazing you asked that question, because with that, I did it until we unearthed it. I didn't realize I was taking those steps through everything that I was doing. So, coming from that dysfunctional family, not, very close to the property line, I didn't have a lot. My mother and father didn't have a lot. They weren't millionaires, or didn't have a lot of money, but what they provided was, comfort for me and made sure that I have whatever possible they could give. But I wanted more because I saw more in those movies. So what I did as I watched those television shows and I saw those, children going to school and how they looked overseas, I started to visualize that for myself. And then, like you said, I tapped into faith. So I use my faith and I use my level of visualization to be able to create what I wanted, which was to study overseas. It was definitely hard because I didn't have any money. The cost was over $30,000. And I pursued it every day. I sat in front of that computer and I would go on those websites and I would just imagine myself there with those students, imagine myself in the classes, imagine myself through it all. When I had every step I took, it was a hump in the road. I didn't get through the scholarship, I didn't get the permit, and I kept getting, beat down. But I just kept going because I kept watching those things and I saw people doing it and I said, if they're doing it, I can do this. This is possible. And that level of visualization, and I didn't realize I was creating a framework or anything, because I was using those steps, building my confidence, being in the environment with people who had already achieved, talking about it, believe speaking about it as though it had already occurred, and just acting as though I had already owned it. And those are the things that helped me to pull that thing into existence, into my actual reality.
Imagine that. It's so amazing and beautiful because
Yeah.
I see we live in a world where people are talking so much about things like manifestation and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? And the thing is, when you really look at the foundation of what they're speaking, it's about faith.
Yes.
And so there you were at a young age of applying faith principles so that you can actually achieve something, right? Because the Bible speaks so heavily about the things that are not as if they are, and the power of belief, which is
Hmm.
what you had. You looked
Yeah.
at a screen, you looked at these people acting,
Yeah.
being very innocent, not knowing, well, this is not real. But in your mind, you're saying, if this is possible for them, it's possible for me. How
Hmm.
has that sort of faith, an ability to visualize things that are not as if they are, how has it impacted what you have achieved in your life at this stage?
Wow. It has been the foundation of everything that I have attained thus far, because when I go through it, I'm like, even the job that I have is, that's faith. Being able to study, that's faith. We didn't have the money, that's faith there. Every single thing, building up my business, that was faith. Even being a part of this speaker mentorship program, because remember when I called you, it was like the day or something before, and I was like, God just wanted me to be here. It was just timing, and it was because of build my faith again. And through that, I recognize that every step, even sometimes I would say to my friend, Natalie, she's watching, I would say, oh my goodness, I'm tired. Because it's like you have to exercise this faith all the time. It's not easy, but it stretches
Mm,
you,
mm,
and God shows up every time, and I continue to do it every time. And it's just been every single thing I do has
mm.
been faith. It's been
Yeah,
faith.
I'm so happy you brought up this element of being tired because
Yeah.
you've been faithing it, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
a lot of times we've been faithing things. I mean, I've been faithing things my whole life.
Yeah.
I would always say to people, I've never had, for example, money to do anything I wanted to do, but it never prevented me from doing everything I wanted to do because I've been faith in it. I think I
Yeah.
even said that I've been using the different currency, which is the currency of faith. So I
Yeah.
get that. And sometimes you just wish, for example, okay, I just wish I could just get this thing easy at least for one time, God. Just allow me. Because I
Yes.
remember when I was going to do my
Yeah.
PhD, that was my desire. I was like, Lord, oh gosh, give me a little break now. I just
Yeah.
wish like I could just get everything covered so I could just go through like a normal person without
Yeah.
praying every single semester, praying for a miracle, praying for a breakthrough, being
Oh,
able
come
to
on.
book something. Give me a break.
Yes. Yes. That's
So
my testimony. Yes.
I understand because that's been,
Yeah.
my own experience as well. And you're like,
Yeah.
I need a break, God.
Oh, God.
But the thing is, we
Yeah.
feel these strong faith muscles and just,
Yeah.
just crazy, so crazy. So it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
It really is.
You
Yeah.
were in the speaker program.
Yeah.
You had access to the programs, but in the program, what would you say was your biggest breakthrough, like your aha moments? What was that for you?
My biggest aha moment was really recognizing that the one thing that I didn't thought was the thing was actually the thing, which was really the vision and and the faith, because I was doing all these other things, and when we pull it out, I was like, oh my goodness, it was right there. It was. Yeah, that was really the aha moment. It was right there, Kimisha. It was right. You've been doing this from every sense, but you just
Mhm.
didn't realize, and that for me that was amazing. It was an amazing breakthrough.
It. I
Yeah.
love it so much because I
Yeah.
tell women that all the time, and I see it with every single client I've worked with. We search and search and search, and the very thing that we're doing was there all the time, and it's so deeply rooted in our own personal experience.
Yes. Yeah.
It every time. And so it's amazing that that was your biggest your biggest breakthrough or aha moment because it was right there all along. I think we
Mhm.
sometimes overlook what's right there. We cannot see it. And it's where I remember in the program, for example, going through week after week and realizing, oh, the thing that I've been doing, and now we're able to root it into your story. Hence the reason why in the program we do go into stories, into your background, because whatever it is that God has called us to speak about, I'm sure almost every single woman is always rooted in already experiences we've had. We just don't
Mhm.
realize it,
That's
because in my own journey of prayer and having to just use that as my tool all my life, I realized, oh, that's it. Same thing with every single one of you,
Mhm.
including you. And that's for me exciting. So you
Yeah.
had access to other programs, the prep program, the runway to soar and stuff. What was
Yes.
the value of these to your journey?
Oh, invaluable. That you see the prayer program, that's the start, because these, you will say you know things, but you don't know things. So when we started to go through that prayer program and we started to pull it apart, they were all things that I heard before. They were all things that I knew before, but just having that look, because now you're being intentional and you're reflecting. So now I had to go through these things and I recognized, oh my goodness. These are principles that we need to ensure that we have in any business,
Mm,
across the board. Is invaluable. I spent a lot of time on that prayer program because that really helped me to build the foundation and build up and understand that I can't do anything without starting with prayer first. It's really the foundation of everything that we do. And that was excellent. That was amazing. That was amazing. That was amazing.
awesome. Praise the Lord. You have some shout outs there.
Yeah.
We have Precious joining us from Sandy Grande in Trinidad. Betty Ann is saying hi with a lot of exclamation marks to you and to me. We have Sherry Lord saying good afternoon. Betty Ann saying
Hi.
good afternoon. Let's see, we have Hilda Hawes joining us. That's my friend there in Trinidad. And
Mhm.
so we're talking about your journey
Yeah.
of imagination, visualization, whatever it is we want to call it, but
Yeah.
really looking at how your journey in life led to the work that you're doing now, the clarity that you have received through the speaker program in really helping women to now visualize. So talk to us about what that looks like, working with the women that you work with. And I guess viewers, you would have noted I said she works with women between the ages of, and I gave an age range, which is when we work in the speaker program, every single one of these ladies have to come up with who their ideal clients are, because your message is not for everybody. A lot of times we give up because we're thinking, people might not. But when we are very clear about who your message is for, then we're able to reach these people directly through, whatever means that you're using, and the way that you're writing and the language that you're using is going to speak to the person who needs it the most. So talk to us about how you're helping women in that area.
Yeah. You see, after I got my clarity and I understood that, my foundation was really vision, which is highly rooted in faith, I was able then to refine that message. So when I have my sessions with my women, that's where we start, because it really has to start with belief. It really has to start with that level of faith. What do they believe about themselves? Do they even understand their identity and able to pursue that vision that they may have? So I have this terminology that I use, I come in like the midwife, because I'm here to birth you. I'm to help you to birth that purpose that's on the inside. But before we get to birth the purpose, we now have to identify what that is, and we now have to identify where your level of belief is. So it has helped me a lot in terms of being more intentional, because now I understand the message. So when I speak with them, I know what I'm saying to them, and I'm not like all over the place and making them even more confused than where they came at. So it helps me really to give them that guidance that they need. And I have definitely seen, an impact. I mean, I remember one of the other day we had a session, and one of the ladies who attended, she said something. She said, I'm so grateful that I discovered your page, because in watching your videos, it has helped me not to make that decision, because I had planned to commit suicide. And I saw that video, and based on what you said,
Mhm.
I said I have more to live for. And I was really blessed by that, because I was like, okay, good. Because now the message is refined and the message is clear. They're able now to connect better, and they don't feel confused when they come with me, because that's the worst thing you want. You don't want people to be more confused than they started. So it has definitely been really, really impactful.
Awesome. So, how easy it is for you to stick to your message of visualization? Because I remember going through your stuff, and that was for me the greatest challenge.
Yeah.
Is when we want to do so much or we're aware of so much, is sticking to our message, because that's where the greatest success comes, when we're able to align. So there are a lot of things in the marketplace that may sound good, that may be good to repeat, but the message that you're called to share is specific. Each of us having a little part to play, and that's why we're not trying to serve everybody and not serve on every topic. How easy it is for you, or how challenging it is for you to stick to the message of visualizing a different life versus anything else.
Before, when I was on shore, it was challenging, because I felt like I needed to speak on this or speak on that, because I felt like it tied in. Now that I have the clarity, understanding that visualization is heavily built off of faith, that's the foundation, and it's something that I do in every area of my life. It makes it easier for me now to connect with those women, because I've done it. So when I'm speaking to them, I'm not telling them a story of someone else, I'm not telling them my story and how I was able to implement these things. So that makes it easier for me to take them through, those steps, look at their life. And it gives me a really better understanding, because before I was really looking and dealing with a lot of the dysfunction and everything. And yes, dysfunction did occur and it is still a part of my story, but that's not what brought me out. It was really the visualization, the faith that I had. And that's what women need, because then they need to know they can't listen. I have a foundation here, despite whatever it is that they're going through. So that's what has been happening.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you've been through the program, you were recommended by Natalie, who came through the program as well. Two amazing, powerful women. And now we're here. We're at a point now. We're finishing up with one cohort of new ladies who just finished the program, and we're getting ready to serve another group of ladies. What would you say to a woman who's listening, who has a story, but more than a story, there is a message? Because as I shared with you, ladies, it's not really about the story, it's about how we can draw lessons and conclusions for our listeners and help to create transformation for them. What would you say to a lady who is listening right now? She heard you, she probably heard the ladies during the week. What would you say to her?
I would really say to that lady who is watching this right now, if you're going to make a decision, please don't make it based on money, because you're going to miss a major opportunity. I know most times when we go to make decisions, that's the first thing that we do. And that has a lot to do with our level of mindset and how we see ourselves. You know, when we look at this speaker mentorship program, this is an opportunity not only just for your niche, but it helps you in so many areas of your life, because it starts with prayer, and you get to apply that. Even if you just come in for just the prayer alone, you know, your life is going to be transformed, because the keys and the principles that are embedded in that program alone is so invaluable. I don't even think you can pay for it, because when you begin to learn those things and understand who you are, who you've been called to, and what God says about you, and all of those things, they are necessary. And then the next step is you get to be a part of a community. You know, you have a group of women who are also doing the same thing. You know, yes, they have different areas, but there's so many similarities. You get an opportunity to learn from them, what they have experienced, how they have overcome, and you get to add that now to your arsenal, and you get to embody yourself. So you get an opportunity to network with them. You get an opportunity to expand your reach instantaneously. I mean, it's one of the best decisions that I have made, and one of the best money I've spent. We spend money every day on so many things, and if you don't see the worth, you don't see the value in it. What about investing in you? You know, because when you invest in you, that's where it starts. So I would definitely I highly recommend you to go ahead and sign up for. Don't procrastinate, don't think about the money, just do it. You can see that you need it right now, because you need to get clarity on where you're going. Maybe you're looking for structure, maybe you're looking to develop, or maybe you're not even sure what you want to do. This is a place where you need to be.
Awesome. Well said. Thank you so much, because I'm really excited for you, Kimisha, because I know that all of what you are doing now with your clarity, it's going to lessen how you expend yourself and focus
Mhm.
more on how can I keep on giving in the area that I'm called to serve, just helping women to visualize and reimagine. And if you just focus on that alone without any other kind of thing, it is going to be powerful, because being able to shift the mind from what my reality is to thinking differently of what it could be, I mean, that's major, you know. And I'm really excited about that work that you're doing and stuff. And I would love for our listeners to be able to find you, because if you hosting workshops, if you're hosting programs, women, for example, groups who want to be able to help young people, for example, based on the different, you know, facets of their experiences, they may need your services. Where can they find you?
Definitely. So you can find me at Queen's Mindset, and that will be on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Or you can go directly to our website at www.queensmindset.net, and I'll be right there.
Awesome. So I'm going to leave that stuff on the screen. So your story is a powerful story of what faith looks like.
Yes.
Even though you were a child, you were using biblical principles to experience a different reality, and that is amazing. I'm so excited for what God is doing in you, through you, for you, because I know that you're open to his leading. I saw that very clear. I saw your struggle when you came in, and I saw the peace that you experienced when you just accepted, okay, this is the area. And so, what would you want to say to our viewers as we wind down our interview? And also, as we just wind down, it's Women's Month. This is the last, your interview is the last one for this month. What would you say to ladies listening right now who may need to visualize differently?
I really want to say to that woman who's watching here, my final words: get to know you. it's important that you get to know who you are, begin to unearth some things about you. It doesn't look good at the beginning, but let me tell you this, it's going to be well worth it, because when you discover who you are, then nobody can come and tell you who you are, because you know exactly who you are. And once you make that first step to discover yourself, understand who you are, own it. Own who you are, own your story, and tell your story. Because many times we're not saying anything because we're ashamed, we're dealing with embarrassment, guilt, all these things are happening. Don't listen to those voices. Tell your story, because your story can save a life, literally. Remember, I shared a video, and that lady said that it stopped her from committing suicide. You don't know what your story can do. Your story can go even beyond mine. Your story can help people in so many different ways. Don't hold it to yourself. Share your story with others. But first, discover who you are, own it, and then share it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out to come and share with us what your journey was like in the speaker program, what you're doing now to help women to be able to reimagine a different life for themselves, regardless of what their backgrounds were. And really excited that you are allowing yourself to continue to be used. I pray that God continues to expand your work and your reach, because you're doing amazing things. And we look forward to hearing so much more about what Kimisha King from Barbados is doing to make changes in the world. And finally, ladies, we thank you so much for coming and joining us today, for joining us all week, for supporting the ladies who came to share, for cheering them on, because it takes a lot to
Mhm.
come out here and just talk about what your background is, what your experience is. But the thing is, your message of transformation has already, I'm sure, impacted lives and will continue to impact more, because not only the viewers who are with us live, but those who will listen again on YouTube and via other social media means. So Kimisha, thank you, viewers, thank you for coming on. And if
Thank
you
you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And any
Yeah.
lady listening, if you know that you're called to speak, reach out to me, send me a message. You right on time. When Kimisha came, she met me the day before we were starting a cohort. You still have time. We're starting on April 5th, but you need to make a decision today, because we're closing off enrollments soon, and we actually were supposed to be closing off today, but if you listen today and you want to just push through, we're starting on April 5th. Reach out to me ASAP so we can get you positioned to join Kimisha and all of these other ladies globally in that our Wow Women speakers community, so that you can begin to use your voice to impact the world. So God bless you guys. God bless you, Kimisha. Thank you
Yeah.
so
God
much.
bless you. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.